I'm wrong.
Yo, welcome back to the You're Right, I'm Wrong podcast, featuring my host here,
Orlando,
and the co-host here, Mike. We're still working out the names, whatever the case may be.
We'll figure out something.
But before we even get into the second episode, if you have not caught the first episode, please, down below, click the link and go watch that first. Talking about Will and Jada, you know, blase.
That craziness.
Yeah. We got some interesting takes on that, so please check that out. And also, as well, before we get into this video again, subscribe.
Yes.
And also, like the video. Let's get us into this YouTube algorithm. So, you know, start popping up all over the place. You can see my shiny head everywhere. And as well, his shiny head too. You know, he's trying to get the waves going. And, man, topic of today is...
So, what are we talking about today?
Man, Rihanna, A$AP Rocky, and the theme is dating down and standards. Standards will, aka, what, settling?
Yeah, like settling.
And, you know, if you feel like you're settling, what the case may be. So, that's the topic, and let's start this off.
Well, I sort of feel like dating down and settling. I'm going to kind of combine those into two things.
Okay.
I feel like settling is just basically going through the motions. Like, whatever you feel like comfortable with, you just go with the flow. And I kind of feel that with dating down. Like, I kind of feel like with society, it's like we have like this whole pressure of just rushing stuff. I feel like the way society's set up now, where it's like you feel almost as if you have to like rush and not really enjoy the experience. Like, once you're at a certain age, society tells you that you should have a certain career by that time period, you should have a family, and you should be married. And a lot of millennials now feel that pressure where you have to do that to feel like someone. And I kind of feel like social media kind of like messes it up a little bit more. Because you see on social media, people have like their happy families and their homes and also vacation all the time. So that kind of puts in the cycle that, you know what am I doing wrong? So you get to the point of where you just kind of like settle. How do you feel about it? Do you feel like settling is a thing, or it's old?
I'm going to say partial cap in some of your statement. You know, you wearing a knitted cap. So, settling is a thing that I think people use for financial terms when comparing themselves to someone else. I hear rarely settling for characteristics and if values match. More so when people looking at income level, I'm settling. And that goes into dating down, which is typically, you know, men did at one point, but women are making a lot more money nowadays. So, you know, but as far as society pressures, I mean, it's 2020, man. To be honest with you, it's more so social media pressure, and it's to live a certain lifestyle of traveling and turning up, having mimosas, and you kind of want to live this, what's the hip hop show? Live that type of lifestyle. Even for men, when you see, you know, these guys ripped up and they on the beach looking cool, sitting in a Lambo, you know,
making a whole bunch of women surrounding them.
Right, get caught up in the lifestyle. I think it's a lifestyle pressure nowadays, not a family. Western culture, I think that we move so much away from family. It's more so, you know, trying to like live this this get the bag culture, and you know, and I more times than not, I would say more so on our counterparts, the women's side, that the family thing becomes more of a pressure because they're more on a time scale. And so I did everything else, now I need to get a man, and it doesn't work that way, at least not for men. So I would say for women, it's more of a biology pressure. For them now, they don't know why they feel the way they feel, or damn, why all of a sudden, I just want a baby, Yeah, it's the nature's pressure.
So, whatever your point, I guess we'll tie into Rihanna and A$AP Rocky. I feel like Rihanna settled, even though you don't believe in the word settling, I feel like Rihanna settled with A$AP Rocky. And Rihanna could have had anybody. Anybody. And I'm not saying that none of us have like judgment over her life at all because we're not living her life at all. So our opinions are mostly disopinions, they're invalid. But I feel like Rihanna could have had anybody in the world, and so she kind of settled for A$AP Rocky. And I'm pretty sure you guys have seen the news that Rihanna did this billionaire, I think it was an oil tycoon, and they did it for a while. And then they broke up, and then Rihanna started appearing out with A$AP Rocky. And a lot of people thought they were just like hanging out, just as friends. Fast forward to like years later, Rihanna pops up with a baby bump. And that's how to put the world in like, out of all people, you got A$AP Rocky. And I mean, I'm not trying to count A$AP Rocky's bad and just his persona, but just like A$AP Rocky, I'm like, out of all people.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's how the way that man handles her behind the scenes, we don't know. From when his interview was, I think it was on the Breakfast Club, how the way, he was saying, she was the homie or whatever, he sounds really like a guy that's not pressed by women. Mm-hmm. And for her to go from a billionaire tycoon, and that man probably was putting on a pedestal or either trying to show I'm with Rihanna or whatever thing, or he might not just could have been hitting the boxes or whatever it was. And she was trying to make it work in her mind because she wanted to date up. And in her values, her core values probably wasn't even the finances at that point. It was just like, damn, like I really just want somebody I can relate to. I don't want no, broke. A$AP is not broke. This is the thing, like settle, like he probably worth 10 mil. That's definitely not broke. So if they was to break up, he could still fly around the world and not get a regular job. He's fine. Just at the end of the day, she might have wanted somebody to relate to have the same values, the same culture background. Even though she's Caribbean, in the eyes of others, still black. So she might have wanted a black baby to share those values and all that. It was possibly a big disconnect within that relationship with that oil tycoon that I can't do this. Yeah. And so for me, when it goes into settling, like I don't see so much as a bad word, because for the most part, when you settle, you probably settling for somebody that you need to be with. You just don't see it that way. And it's one thing if you are a woman that could be selling for a man. Most people tie this to finances. So if you're making $100,000 and he's making $50,000, but if you met that man and he already had a house and 2 cars, it might have just been a Honda Civic, and whatever the case may be, he sounds stable. Mm-hmm. He sounds like he's at least savvy in his finances. He may not have abundance like you, but in what way would that be settling as if like you're doing worse? He's still,
I mean, that's what you wouldn't really be settling, because it's like you're finding somebody that matches what you bring to the table. And I just like to go a little bit deeper. A lot of people, I'm saying dating right now in 2022, dating actually for the last couple of years has been horrible. It's been real ghetto to date. It's been real ghetto. It's like a lot of people don't really know what they want. A lot of people are asking for things that they can't provide themselves. And a lot of people are just like saying they want something just for the fun of it because it sounds nice. Mm-hmm. So they don't waste somebody's time. And so after a while, it gets to a certain point where it's like you keep going through wasting time and wasting time and wasting time. And you may find one person that may match 2 check marks that you want on your list, your imaginary list. And because you get tired of like going through wasting your time, you kind of say, okay, well, you match this, so I'll do what works with the situation. And then a situation turns into a situationship. And I just feel like nowadays with relationships now, a lot of them are situationships because people go for, and I'm gonna butcher this word, familiarity or comfort. Everybody wants companionship to an extent. I feel that's like a natural human thing where people want to have companionship. So it's like, not every companionship is good companionship. And there's a point where you settle on somebody that makes you feel comfortable. Now, just as somebody makes you feel comfortable for a time being, is that person good enough for you long term?
So, I mean, this is where, you know, having the proper people in your life to teach you how to date, how to vet properly and all that, for men and women. Comfortability, I think that's more so a big thing for women. You know, feeling comfortable for them to be themselves, to express themselves is fine, that's cool. But you have to understand the game of that too. For men, just know how to say the right things to make you feel comfortable. Just as well as for men on this side, like you have to be able to vet a woman properly to see through her BS that she's just not put on the, you know, whatever the case may be.
Facade.
Right. People shouldn't be looking for matches. I would say this: people should look for complementary pieces and core values as well. Is, you know, I guess it will be matched to an extent. Yeah. So, you know, long as in those core values that we match, that we're aiming for the same thing, I can understand that we're different. Long as what we're different in is not so detrimental. You know, I don't want a monogamous issue. You want something poly. That's, you know, we need to talk. You may have impulses. I'm more stable. We need to talk, because if you have a bad spending habit, we need to talk about your credit report, you know, all that. So it's one thing to, all right, man, you may not put stuff back in the right places and that kind of annoy me. Cool, whatever. But if I know that you family oriented, you're about loyalty and all the things that match in core values, and then you compliment me in other places, vice versa, your little ticks here and there that may be quirky and stuff, we can get around that. I just don't think people are looking for a complete that match. Nobody's perfect. You, the person who's saying I need somebody that this and that, you're not perfect. If you can find somebody that can compliment you, can definitely compliment your weaknesses, you know, and they're not so much a detriment or what you consider a detriment, then, you know, go for that person. But a lot of times with people is this, you know, they go for what's familiar, very superficially. You know, what's familiar to them, like, you know, you talk a certain way, you gotta walk a certain way. I like dudes to do this, you know, women that, you know, do this and that. Like, man, nah, you ain't what I want. Like, you know, it's just a superficial message. It's not really gonna help you build. So, personally.
So it's all about like just having like standards. Like, it always like kills me when people always say, "Oh, you have too high standards." I don't believe that nothing is a high standard. If that's what you like in your mind, it may be reasonable to somebody else, but to you that makes sense. It's like wrong with it. That's not what attracts you. And it kind of goes into like what we talked about a while ago, where when people say that I don't go for looks, I go for personality. I kind of feel like that's a lie. I feel like somebody's looks is like a doorway to somebody's personality. And it's like, you have to have something initially attract you about that person. It can be anything. It's whatever attracts you to that person that makes you want to like get to know them. Right. Now, if they have a nasty attitude or the attitude doesn't match with how they look, you dodge a bullet. But kind of going ahead, you don't want to meet somebody who is attractive and then they have a simple personality, but the fact that okay, well, I'm gonna settle on this. They match this because they're attractive and they have this and have that. So I'm gonna settle on that because I found what I want. It may not be all of what I want, but I found this like something. So I'm gonna go along with that. Those relationships don't last. And that's what I said earlier. A lot of people end in situationships because you go based on what you think that you want as compared to what you need.
So you said that if somebody, go back to the example, if they was looking for somebody that can dress, carry themselves, and what's the other thing?
And dress ready to themselves, and I think that was it. I don't know something.
I thought I should do something else. Well, one of those things is superficial, and that's dressing, because somebody can work on their fashion, on how the way they dress. How the way they carry, that can be worked on too, but that is, I would say that's not so much superficial. That's a mindset into knowing if a person is honestly weak or strong enough to handle certain situations. They're slouched over, or it's just, they have poor posture. It's they just look like, man, what's wrong?
But would talk to that person?
You wouldn't.
They were like slouched over, or if they look like they didn't put in the effort to like dressing themselves. It don't matter. You don't have to like wear designer stuff, and you put effort to what you put on.
I mean, it depends on the setting. I would say that.
So somebody had a whole bunch of like stains on their shirt.
Of course not. No,
I'm gonna talk to her over there.
No, that looks nasty. Like, no, of course not. Okay, I can see what you're saying in that sort of sense. If the hygiene is not up to par, or they're just not, they don't care about how the way they look. Okay, that could be a window into things. But if it's just something simple and something like that, or they dress really just blah, cool. You might want to get to know the person if you're just trying to put them to the wayside because they don't have labels or it's just not so extravagant. But I get what you're saying. If it's like a hygiene thing, they mustard old ketchup stains in a shirt that it need to become a germ shirt now and stuff like that. Yeah, and you come.
You don't care about how the way you look. How can I expect you to care about how you handle a relationship? Which those can be like two different things. But it's like that's what most people.
But it can be a window into not necessarily handle a relationship, but hey, if I need things done, if you can't even take care of yourself, can I give you the money to pay this bill, or stuff like that? So I get that. I would give you that. But people can. In today's dating world, it's just so superficial. It is highly superficial, and it's just dumb things for a lot of women that is just art. I'm just gonna say women because I'm a straight man that likes women. So that it not anything I'm complaining about, but it's what I see there. It's not what they won't go for because it's not ticking the box. And nowadays you're seeing a lot more women freezing eggs, stuff like that, because I'd rather excuse me, I was a mosquito here.
Trying to the line.
Right. But they're not ticking whatever boxes, and they'd rather be lonely and wait around for that one guy, and just all y'all chasing the same guy. But anyway, it doesn't make sense that people aren't necessarily compromising on the things that they should compromise on. Would I rather have a girl or a guy that have less swag but they know how to manage their money, or they value family first. They won't be out in the clubs. If it's time for us to settle down and really right. So it's very primal. Shout out to AOQ. He's a YouTuber I watch, and he said it's real primal out of these streets, and that's true. It's very primal on both sides. Like everybody. It's very hypersexual, and it's just a lack of awareness from people, and you get situations like, not saying ASAP Rocky and Rihanna situations this way, but you can get possible situations where women feel that, and I'm going to use that, they feel that they need to do this to check off a box, and once they get this box checked, okay, well, now I can have this baby and raise it on my own. After a few years, I'm going to get bored with this guy, leave him be. And in her case, she'll probably have to pay child support if he go after full custody, whatever the case may be. But, other situations for the most part, she's going to go for child support, raising the kid. In this home, you have a dad that turns into a weekend dad. And, it's a mess. And it's no tradition out here. It's no family. So, sorry, I don't want to rant.
No, I totally get what you're saying. Dating is just weird. I guess to tie it all up in that wrap a little nice little bow around it. Dating is based on what you feel is going to be best for you. And not everybody may check a certain box, but just my take, and I guess like what I do for myself is that I don't want to just, and I understand those relationships and friendships, I don't want something just so that I have it. That has no value to it. And then with the whole Rihanna and ASAP situation, I feel like Rihanna just settled the situation. Maybe she didn't. But I feel like she settled the situation, and I guess to put on like a broader scale, a lot of people said out here, like, there's so many situations and people are in situationships where it's like they're just like bored. And I'm not saying that every time like life should be fun all the time and life should always be like TV, like these reality shows and these movies. But you just kind of want to have somebody just like feed your soul, like somebody who makes you add on to you. Like not, how do I want to say this? Not make you whole, but an add on to what you bring to the table.
Agree to disagree to some extent. You do want somebody that, you know, you attracted to, but at the same time too, you want to grow and you want to understand them. Well, you want to make sure first y'all both on the same path to whatever you want. And for two, some of the best relationships are, you know, being a friendship, as long as it's not friendly vibes that it feel like you in bed with your homeboy. No, I'm not saying that. But it's still that underlying, like, you know, you could tell when somebody talks to somebody and it's still that playful tone, but it's still that attraction there and that admiration, you know, that can be some of the best relationships. But just at the same time, you know, those core values, man, and even when you don't get each other, people don't understand relationships is about the long haul. It's not about we gonna feel good every day and taking trips and all the pictures on Facebook and Instagram. Oh, it's not about that. Relationships is honestly about when those rough times come through, how you gonna persevere through it and how you gonna last through it. True. You know, you don't think that when people are married 60 and 50 years that it was just a happy, great on time, popping bottles in the horse carriage the whole time, and the T Model 4s till we get to the Teslas. No, I'm pretty sure sometimes it's with infidelity, and I ain't saying stick around for it, but if you can manage it, cool. But whatever it is that, you know, you need to go through in that relationship, go through it, because that's the trying times that lets you know that's, damn, this person really stuck around.
Even if you want to have an entanglement.
I ain't saying that. I ain't saying that. Look, I ain't saying. Look. Okay, anyway, it's whatever you as a person can deal with, and if y'all can manage that, go proper therapy, whatever you need, or you know, talk it out, whatever arrangement, whatever it is for those people. As long as it's a line of respect there at the end of the day, do you? But it, you know, it has to be, like I said, respect, understanding, and just, you know, a willingness to work. It's always a continuation to work on a relationship. It's nonstop. And people are so lazy nowadays, and they think that once they say, yeah, you my boyfriend, my girlfriend, that's it. And you had that one argument, oh, it's over. No, it's not. I don't want to deal with this no more. Yeah, it's like, no, that's life. You're gonna be a track star out here, pretty much. So, you know. So hey, so to the Rihanna and ASAP thing, personally, I think that she, even if it may not be the man she wants, she found a man that compliments her so well, and just, you know, if she didn't love it, she grew to love it, and you know, hopefully it works out for him, man. And that black family, we need that. So
we'll see in due time. But on that note, we're gonna end this video. If you guys like what you're seeing, like, comment, and subscribe to this channel.
Share.
Yes, and share. Share this video. Share your opinions down below. How do you feel? Do you feel like settling is a thing? Do you feel like settling is not a thing? Let us know down in the comments below. And Yeah, we'll see you guys.
See you guys next time. Oh, no, also as well, you know, if you have a topic that, you know, you might want us to cover, we'll definitely consider that. So put that down as well, too.
No. It's like, there's so many things we can talk about, so many things.
Right.
But, until then, we'll see you on the next video.
Hey, peace.